This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, and verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash, and double honor to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well, who I learn this truth from. And peace and salutations to the elect that scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing this truth in sincerity and meekness without wavering, as well as risking our life and freedom to do so. This is your brother ICR from the GMS Cleveland Church, and I'm back with another lesson, and Lord willing it is edifying to one of the Lord's elect. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is the true name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls Jesus Christ. Bahashem is in the name. Rachak Wadash means Spirit Holy. And this lesson is going to be surrounding, pertaining to this verse I just read. And as you see, this was red letter, which Yahweh Shai spoke in the future tense. This is a prophecy that was going to take place to the Israelites, specifically the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which today will be known as so-called Jamaicans, so-called Negro, and Haitians, because they were the only ones still in the Holy Land at that time. This prophecy was going to take place, to them, because they, once again, they were the only ones in that land, all right? And it says they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And that's what happened in 70 AD. From 67 AD up until 73 AD, there were wars going on between the Romans and the Southern Kingdom. And eventually the Southern Kingdom fell in 70 AD. But there were still strongholds that had to be taken down, like Masada. Which completely was which they ended up being overcame by the Romans. And after they the Southern Kingdom lost the war, they were put into slavery, man. Some of them fled, into the interiors of Africa, and then from Africa they went up into Europe, and many other places in the Eastern Hemisphere, But when it says they were led into all nations, that's talking about in 1619, when the so-called Negro, Haitian, and Jamaican were put on cargo slave ships. You had something known as the transatlantic slave trade, or the triangular slave trade, man. So after that, the land was, after the Southern Kingdom was taken out of the land of Jerusalem, the Gentiles would take hold of the land. Now, the Gentiles that took hold of the land after the Southern Kingdom left were the Ishmaelites, the so-called Arabs. Now you have so-called white people, which are the nation of Edom, starting with the top tribe, the Amalekites, the people that claim to be the people of the Heavenly Father's chosen, special chosen people. Now they're in the mix of that land. They're trying to establish the state of Israel, in the midst of the Ishmaelites. So those are the two nations that's trotting down Jerusalem right now, man. And I have a video pulled up proving to you that the people are not in the land, all right? Because remember in the book Isaiah 14 and and 2, all right? I'm gonna start at 1, because this is gonna happen to the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. The Lord is going to deliver them miraculously out of Babylon the Great, which is going to be up in smoke, which is the United States of America today. And He was going to place them in their own land. That's why it says Isaiah 14:1. For Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. The nation of Jacob and Israel is talking about a people before a place, a nation of people, which is talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, or Seminole Native American Indians, starting with the elect. It says to set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right, the strangers is also Israelites, those that's coming into the faith. The Lord said he was going to set them in their own land. How the Lord's going to set us in our own land? By delivering us from many other nations across the planet Earth, okay, and putting us back in that land, okay, after it's built up by the heathens, okay. So I have this video, all right. It said Jacob Rothschild's my family created Israel, okay, which he's talking about modern day Israel, but nevertheless, these are the people that's trotting down that land, okay. It says they were going to cast it out for a prey, right? This is the book Ezekiel 36 and 5, and as you see the mountain of Israel to be blessed. This is talking about the land, all right. In this land, our land is desolate. It's not able to produce, you know, what it did back in the ancient times when we were inhabiting the lands. Okay, now these heathens, these small hats, these Edomites, the Amalekites, they gotta import all types of plants, food, all they gotta import everything because that land is it's cursed. Okay, until we be put back in that land. But nevertheless, this is Ezekiel 36 and 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Right, Idumea is a Greek way of saying Edom. Okay, so this is against you Edomites, which it says which have appointed my land into their possession. And how did that happen? Through the Balfour Declaration. All right, and through this declaration, what they're able to do is funnel money. Okay, it's like dirty money. They use the land of Israel to cleanse their money. Okay, and they also use it to the land to reap the benefits of the people of the Bible, the true people of the Bible, man. Okay. And the Idumeans, once again, are Edomites. And once again, the Balfour Declaration, which is a man-made documentation, appointed them that land. Okay, and that was in 1948. So I'm going to play this video, make it quick, and I'm going to close out. All right. To the Lord, within this edifying to one of the Lord's elect. We're in the times of exposing this devil, man. All right. These are the people that control the whole entire planet Earth. Okay.
In modern Jewish history, and it begins with 3 words. Dear Lord Rothschild.
Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet.
Why was it that this letter was sent by the Foreign Secretary to your great-uncle Walter?
It's an interesting question because it was primarily a movement from Eastern Europe, but they didn't clarify who was in charge of that movement. And in addition, it was, after all, in Great Britain. So they felt that the Rothschild family should be the one to whom it was addressed. And Walter was Lord Rothschild, and he was a Zionist. With favour the establishment of Palestine as a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country.
It's the Balfour Declaration. What do you feel when you see it here?
I genuinely feel it's one of the most extraordinary moments in the history of the Jewish people.
See, these people, they're in that land right now. The Balfour Declaration, the Lord didn't mention a piece of paper giving you documentation to take that land. No, they're going to get, the nation of Israel is going to get the land back through what? Through war, okay? When they come off those ships, okay? Well, first and foremost, that land is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire before it even, before the nation of Israel, okay, it's back in that land. That's in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and verse. And I'm going to start at verse 9. It said, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about. The camp is talking about what? It's talking about the land of Israel and the beloved city. The beloved city is what? Jerusalem. And fire came down from the Most High out of heaven and devoured them, because that land is going to be up in smoke. That fire is representing those thermonuclear missiles that Israel's Iron Dome defense system is not going to be able to protect themselves against. Okay, so the Lord has a strong hatred towards these Edomites for appointing that land in their name, man. All right, the Lord didn't give them the right to inhabit that land, but the thing is, Esau gave up his birthright. He gave up the blessing. Okay, and that blessing came with everlasting life, law, statutes, and commandments, and a fruitful land. Okay, and that fruitful land is talking about the land of Israel. Okay, so Esau gave up the birthright, and now he wants it back. So he put himself in that land, and he put on the identity of the Israelites, and you people fell for it, man. Okay, but prophecy says that the Lord is going to put them in their own land. Okay, yeah, I just read that in Isaiah 14 chapter, and before he does that, okay, that place is going to be hit by thermonuclear missiles, man. Okay, but the thing is, they're going to build it back up. These same elites that appointed the land in their names, they're going to build it back up. Okay, we're going to make them young again. Okay, and we're going to fucking make them work, because the elect are going to have spiritual power. Okay, we're going to be able to do what we please. Okay, if a motherfucker die, all right, we going to put life back into his ass and make him younger again and work. Okay, constantly, man. All right, because these devils have destroyed that land, man. All right, they have polluted the land. All right, and just look what happens in that land. Okay, they have pink parades, which a pink parade means what? Alphabet parade. Okay, where you have man on man and woman on woman celebrating wickedness, man. All right, and that's going to be one of the main reasons why that place is destroyed. Did not the Lord say, in Romans 15:4, whatsoever was written aforetime was written for our learning? When the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, it was for a specific reason, and that reason is exactly what the United States of America pushes, and what Israel pushes, man, which is once again man on man and woman on woman. Okay, so these are the people that's in control of that land. Okay, these people right here, the international banking families, the Rothschilds, man. All right, the true people are not in the land. All right, let's grab that real quick, and then I'm gonna close out. All right, this is the book of Micah, chapter 4, in verse 1. It says, "But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, right? And it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it," right? That's talking about what? The nation of Israel. The mountain of the house of the Lord is talking about the nation of Israel, the government, the governing body. Okay, we're going to be above all over other governments, because there's still going to be governments. These heathens are going to have their governments. But the thing is, they're going to come to us. Okay, that's why it says, "And many nations shall come and say, Come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Now, does that happen right now? No. You not even allowed to just travel to that land, man. And if you do, they're not teaching you to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? They're not telling you to have a beard on you. This guy didn't even have a fucking beard on his face, okay? And in the law, to be this color is leprosy, man. It's a disease, man. Okay, what happened with Miriam when the Lord took her pigment from her? When they put her outside the camp, because it's an abomination, man. All right, and these are the people that's controlling the state of Israel today. All right, which they don't even have the whole country. Okay, they have a portion, but they're on they're working to grasp more landmarks. That's why you see what's going on in Gaza. Okay, they're trying to fulfill prophecy, and they are, but they're not fulfilling the righteous side of prophecy. They're fulfilling the wicked. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Lord willing, this is edifying to one of the Lord's elect. It's I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash, and double honor to my teachers, the head apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to the elect. Kwam Yashar Allah Shalom.